Welcome back for another edition of the Bulldog Breakdown with Coach Rocco. Coach, privileged to be able to keep doing these. That means that we're winning.
Praise God.
It's amazing. Bulldogs continue their playoff journey after a big win versus the Broadway Gobblers. And now the stage is set for a rematch with the Heritage Pioneers. Don't want to play up that too much, but we are going to talk to you a little bit about what that means. Because this is playoff football at its finest. Stakes are high, intense matchups, everything is on the line. In this episode, we're going to dive into this past week's thing in our film room, past week's game. Highlight senior standout James Deo. What a game that guy had.
Totally.
And then we're going to preview what it's going to take to beat Heritage this week. And part of what it's going to take to beat Heritage is having all the fans come out for the game. Stay tuned for the Maddox Power Play of the Week. This week we're gonna pick up Deo's 80-yard run, and we're gonna ask him a little bit about that because it helped seal the win against Broadway. We're gonna get started, Coach. We're gonna talk about breaking down this win. Film room. Let's go to the film room. I'll throw up some of the video if we need to, but the team comes out and consistently starts scoring, but it really didn't feel comfortable. Yeah. Probably even all the way to half, even though we kind of built a little bit of a lead, it felt a lot closer than it was. What stood out to you? Let's talk about Broadway at first, because they came in and they're an 8 seed coming up against a 1 seed. What did you see in them as far as how they executed? Did they do anything different than you planned for, or did they just do it extremely well?
Yeah, I mean, we knew that they were going to be extremely passionate and that this was, their Super Bowl, and they came out as if it was their Super Bowl. Teams are really loading the box on us now and forcing us to do other things, which, I'm very confident that we can win football games doing other things, right, which we did the other night. But I mean, it's, an area that we have to continue to get better at and contend with, because that's how people believe the recipe is to beating us. So, we always have stuff in our toolbox to bring out and utilize against teams that want to load up in the box and try to stop Gideon and our other running backs. But they did a good job. They came out and they were hungry, and probably hungrier than we were coming out of the gate. And they had a great fan following and playing. They really had a lot of energy going into the game,
which is amazing because they come from like an hour and a half away north of
2+ actually, north of JMU.
Yeah, north of JMU, and so a lot of props to them for coming down, coming and being ready and getting those early stops on Gideon. But like you said, the crowd was behind them, extremely good. For you, when you see your guys kind of frustrated at first on what they're able to do. What did you see that encouraged you with how they responded?
Yeah, I think all year long, we've taken team's best punch, and then you don't flinch, and then you just keep coming back, and then eventually we wear them down. We hit a big play, get the momentum on our side, and that's happened quite often this week or this year, and. I'm really proud of our guys, how, we've never gotten down, even when a team may get ahead of us or they may appear to have a little bit more mojo than us in a specific part of a game. We always answer the bell.
Yeah. This game, we're going to talk in a little bit to James Deo, our player of the game. He's actually got the Maddox Power Play of the game. Right. Last week we talked about if there's any moments that you have that surprise you or that just cause you to kind of cheer a little bit more than just hold it in. James has a 60+ yard reception for a touchdown, and then later on, I think third quarter, he runs 80 yards around the end for a touchdown, over 150 yards from scrimmage, 12 tackles, several for loss. For you, tell me what a standout game like that does for a team and really for you as a coaching staff being able to rest on things like that.
I mean, from a team perspective and an individual teammate perspective, I'm always really happy and proud of our guys that execute plays that we call them touchdown plays. You have so many plays in the playbook or in a game plan that you got to execute them, and if you execute them well, they're touchdown plays. So I'm really thankful when, everything executes well, and then somebody will end up making a touchdown off of that play. And, from a coaching perspective, you're going through a game trying to set things up in a manner that, you want to make something look like something, but then coming off of it is, the potential of a big play. And so when that works, when that it's like, you got them. And so, I guess as emotions from a coach on the sideline, I'm extremely happy and proud for our player. And then I'm really happy the way the play call played out and was set up in previous calls.
Yeah. It was one of the first times that Carter and I actually did the huddle stats down from the sideline. It was really neat to see how dialed in all the guys on the sideline where they were cheering all the way. They're racing him down the field
no doubt.
as much as they were anything. Looking at both sides of the ball, kind of the last thing in our from Broadway review, where do you think the team performed best overall this week?
Yeah, I think overall we've been really, really good on all sides of the ball in every game. But unfortunately, in every game, we've had a little bit of a lapse in every side of the ball.
Okay.
And in reality, if we really expect to certainly beat Heritage or even to go and repeat again or even have a chance to repeat, it's got to be a total 48-minute effort, and so we're still trying to get that. We're at the end of the season, and with only 30 some kids on the team, we got bumps and bruises, and sickness has gotten us, and you can tell we're dragging to the finish line, and to really play in these big games, you got to bring some energy, and just hopefully all of these things that are kind of bogging us down, we won't let it get to us, and we can finish strong.
Yeah. Well, one of the last things that we'll talk about for this last week is our Maddox Power Play of the Week. It's brought to you by Maddox Air Electrical and Plumbing. This week's play belongs to James Deo. We're going to look at that electrifying 80-yard touchdown run that left the defense in the dust. Let's take a look.
It's time for the Maddox Power Play of the Week, brought to you by Maddox Air Electrical and Plumbing, keeping your home running strong. Let's check out this week's big-time play. Maddox, let's get started. Despite holding a 21-7 lead, the Bulldogs were feeling the pressure from an energized Broadway team, determined to claw their way back into the game. Facing a critical 3rd and 7 from their own 20-yard line, the Bulldogs turned to senior James Deo. Lined up as a slot receiver, it looked like an obvious passing situation. But on the snap, James turned into the backfield, taking a handoff at the 12-yard line and sweeping to the far side of the field. As he hit the line of scrimmage at full speed, defenders scrambled to recover. James easily picked up the first down, but he wasn't done. Accelerating downfield, only 3 Gobbler defenders had a chance to stop him. One managed to catch up, but James was too strong, dragging the defender into the end zone for an electrifying 80-yard touchdown run. With this incredible play, Deo not only extended the Bulldogs' lead, but helped secure their first-round playoff victory. That was your Maddox Power Play of the Week, brought to you by Maddox Air Electrical and Plumbing. When it comes to your home, Maddox says, let's get started.
And that was your Maddox Power Play of the Week. I love it. I can rewatch that over and over. It was so cool to see him race to the end, and it's really good. Hey, Coach, we're gonna jump over. We're gonna do a sideline spotlight, and we're gonna talk to James, and then coming out of that, we're gonna talk about Heritage, and then we'll get ready for the game.
Good, let's do it.
Okay, Bulldog family, we are thrilled to have senior standout James Deo. How you doing?
Doing great.
Ow, that hurt, man. That's every time he hits something, it hurts somebody. Sideline Spotlight. James, you had an incredible performance this weekend, this past weekend. Great job. Congratulations. I think over 150 yards total offense between catching balls and running them down the field, and 8, 9, 10 tackles. I know you had at least 12 tackles for losses. And what an incredible week that was for you. But obviously, team game and move on to the next round. I want to talk about your mindset during the game itself. What drove you? Sometimes great games just develop, And sometimes I've even talked to guys that just kind of felt this was a week that you just kind of felt something was going to be special. Talk to me about going into the game against Broadway. What was the feeling for you, and what was the feeling for your team?
Definitely for me, feeling just to go out there and play my hardest like I do every week. But I mean, I always try to focus on God. Like while I'm doing that, I'm always trying to, see how I can glorify Him and how I play. But definitely going up to that and going into that week, we were really just trying to, first round, we want to just make a statement. We want to go out there and really just prove to everyone who we are. And I think in the first half, we weren't doing that like we should have, and came out second half and started doing what we needed to do. Definitely.
Yeah, it's playoffs, and Broadway came to play. They didn't come to be the first victims to the Bulldogs. It was impressive to see them come out and play hard. This is a big season for you. I mean, you're leaving a legacy. Tell me for you, what has this season meant to you, and how's it shaped your perspective as a leader on the team?
Right, it's been really special for me because I've been in this program for 4 years now, and always seen the older guys and how they've always led and how they've always really picked us up when we needed to be picked up. And just being that it's my senior year now, it's just so surreal. And I feel like I want to go out there and do what the people did before me and really just try to lead well and just try to make sure everyone knows what they're doing and make sure everyone's ready to go.
Yeah. Coach, we've already talked in the recap of Broadway about how it was a little bit hard to get off the gate against Broadway. For you, having a guy like James on the field to depend on, what's it like to have him out there? And all your seniors, but we're here with him today.
I mean, James is just the model football player, in my opinion. He's a model young man, Christian young man, leader by example. But he, in all areas, he just checks all the boxes, and we're just so blessed to have him. I really believe his better days are even ahead. I mean, he says he's been playing football for 4 years, and I think as he continues to play and gets poured into by other coaches, I mean, he's got ability that is higher level, and I'm just really excited to see what God does in his future.
James, you talked about having played for several years. Games against Heritage are special. That I think a couple years ago, with Joe leading the charge down, it came down to a play in the end zone. We fell kind of short, and then last year we come back and went, we're in the playoffs, and Heritage is coming to Bulldog Stadium. For you, what does it mean to face Heritage a second time? How does this feel different? And what are you thinking going up against this team a second time?
Right. So I'm so excited. First of all, going back out there, we know that we didn't perform as well as we wanted to last time against them. So we know that we have something to prove now, and it's always something to prove against Heritage, every single year. And I remember last year even I wasn't even able to play in this game, so I'm just so excited to get back out there and finally get to play against them twice this year, which is super, super exciting. Always is.
Games against Heritage always means something, but when it's second round of the playoffs, it's really special. I'm hoping that we get to see full stands on both sides, being as loud as they can. You've been a big part of the team's success. We've said that it is a team game. How have you seen your Bulldogs grow this season?
Definitely. I mean, I feel like we're on the younger side this year, and I feel like we have a lot of new faces. So just being able to mature as a team, I think has been really critical. Beginning the season leading up, I felt like we didn't really know what we were doing. We weren't really clicking. But I feel like definitely now towards the end of the season, we've been really clicking, especially post-Heritage. We've really put it all together, and I feel like we're just, firing on all cylinders now, which is good.
Wow, that's awesome. If you could pick one moment from this season, I know that's a lot. I know you're focused on this game, but for a moment, think back through the season. What is a play or a moment or even a drive that really kind of defines the heart of this team to you?
Probably. I mean, right off the top of my head, just even this past Broadway game, we're they have the ball, they're driving, and then we're able to stop, get a turnover, and then go right in and score. I mean, I just think that whole pushing, keep moving forward, whether they're on the offense and then we're getting the ball back and then we're going and scoring, that change of momentum is something we've always been able to produce. We've always been able to go from on the defensive side to the attack right away. I felt like that's something we've been able to do really well this year.
Nice. Before we let you get out of here, run for 80 yards, get a pass for 64 yards, something like that. Which of the two was your favorite?
Favorite was probably the less tiring run, which was this which was the 60-yard one, because that was like second play of the game. I was fresh.
Right.
Going into the second quarter. I remember that play call being called, and I was super excited to get the ball, but I was also like, if it breaks, so I'm gonna have to run for 80 yards, and that's gonna be terrible. So
you turn the corner and it's first down, right. Then it's extra yards.
Yep.
At what point along the way are you like, I'm in a foot race for the end zone? Because there had to be a moment that you're like, I'm just getting the first down, and then I can make this.
Mm-hmm. I turned the corner, I start running, I realize everyone is like even with me, and I'm like, okay, now I just got to beat him down there. And I definitely towards the end I was huffing and puffing and trying to use the momentum against me, but to push me in. But it was great.
What game was it that we ran that? You ran for a touchdown,
yes,
and it got called back.
That was first game Salem. Yep. Oh yeah.
Wow. Well, the grounds crew just said it's time for you to go home.
All right.
So
that's good.
Good to see you. James Deo, see you out there versus Heritage. Wow. James Deo. What a player. Such a privilege to have him on there. You and I are talking, he's got that Clark Kent thing going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And he is such a unique athlete. I'm telling you, I don't know that I've ever coached anyone quite like him, because he is so powerful and explosive. He is a fast, straightaway runner. In the weight room, I mean, he set our squat record this year at 505-pound squat. But he's his height, and he's a little bit gangly, so sometimes he doesn't look as athletic as he really is,
right.
And I mean, he is a unique physical specimen, and again, we're just so thankful to have him, because he is a tremendous young man above
That's
everything
right.
else.
His speed is incredibly deceptive, because he has those long strides that sometimes you look at him moving down the field and you don't realize, unless there's something else to give you context of how fast he's running. Right. And in that play, you see everybody's trying to catch him, and guys that had a 10-yard head start because they're already back. Right. He just gets 20 yards downfield and hits an extra gear of I'm going to make it to the end zone. And then he gets close to the end zone and he carries somebody in there with him.
Right.
Because he's so strong.
Yeah.
But you see him walking around school, and he's got the glasses on, he's dressed nice, and you're just like, this is a guy that could absolutely knock you out on the football field. It's kind of crazy. Coach, we're headed into second week of the VHSL playoffs, and last week some of the guys were talking about how it's unique to meet somebody you've never met before, the Broadway Gobblers. We don't know much about them. This week we get to meet somebody we know a whole lot about. We're going to see Slash come in here and lead the Heritage Pioneers into this place. For you, facing the same team twice in a season, it's interesting. What benefits are there in preparing for a match like this? And I guess let's talk about what are some of the drawbacks of that.
Yeah, I mean, last year we did the same thing against Rustburg, if you remember, in the playoffs. So we played them, a very good team early in the year, beat them. I forget what the score was, and then came back and played them in the I think it was the second round. Same thing. So we've done this before. I mean, it's not easy to beat a good team twice in 1 year. So there are some uniquenesses to the mental, letdown, the mental toughness and the physical toughness of a game like this is going to really, really tell the tale, I think. Because, it's very easy for someone that doesn't really think in a mentally tough way that, man, we already beat them. This is going to happen again. It's going to be an easy thing because we already beat them one time. So you've got to be sharp. You got to be mentally tough to not let your mind go there. So hopefully it's Tuesday today. We had some ups and downs in practice today. Hopefully as each day goes by this week, that we can become a little crisper and a little bit more locked in.
It's been kind of mild this week so far. By the time that this airs, the temperature is going to change a whole lot. Tomorrow, I think the high tomorrow's going to be in the 70s, but then I think Thursday it's high of 49. The same on Friday. Does that change anything in the way you prepare? Do you prepare them in certain ways? How does that affect the team's mojo going into?
Yeah. Again, I think
game?
it's a mental toughness thing. I don't know, especially today was 69, 70. Tomorrow is going to be somewhat about the same. It may rain a little bit tomorrow. I don't think Friday's supposed to rain, just be a little bit colder. I don't know that you really can do much to prepare other than talk about it, get it in your mind mentally, what it's going to look like and how it's going to take a major effort to be able to overcome that along with the opposition.
Does it ever change play calling?
A little bit. I mean, if depending on the ball, sometimes the ball gets awfully hard in the, in the cold, how you can throw it. Ball carriers, hands holding on to a ball can be a little bit, you can punch the ball out a little bit easier. But I mean, we're both playing in the same conditions and, what we have to deal with, they got to deal with. So again, I guess it comes back to mental toughness.
This week, we play in order to be able to play on Thanksgiving. I mean, we're getting to that point. For us to be singing Victory in Jesus with a larger score on the board, what are the key things? What do the Bulldogs have to do to overcome Heritage this time? What are the main things?
Yeah, I think they have improved tremendously since we last played them. Their quarterback, as you mentioned, Slash, he is a dynamic athlete. He throws the ball well, but he runs the ball even better. And he has become their number one running back. Even though he is the quarterback. Reminds me a lot of Lamar Jackson, to be honest with you. But on top of that, I mean, they've got, 3 running backs that they mix in that are all really good. I mean, number 8 was started at Brookville last year and played linebacker there, and now he's playing at Heritage. And then actually number 9 played at Glass last year. He was a linebacker and a running back there. And now he's in that stable of running backs. And then number 11 was Heritage's linebacker last year, but he's also a good running back. So they got 3 running backs that they just rotate in, and then they let Slash go to work and do what he does. So plus a couple really good athletic receivers, number 6 and number 19. So, yeah, it's a complete team, and we're going to have our hands full.
Yeah. Really want to see all of you out for this game. Don't take a single week of football for granted at this point. All the boys know it's one and done. We as fans need to know that as well. And we tell you this a whole lot. Bulldog fans, you are an important part of their weekend. Having you out there, having you loud, especially on third downs, is a big deal to these guys. And there's nothing like Friday night football, and we've only got a few of those left, no matter what.
Yeah, and honestly, I overheard the boys talking a little bit just about disappointment, that it did appear that Broadway had more people than we did. And that'll affect a 16-year-old boy.
Absolutely.
We need support. These kids deserve our support in Bulldog Nation. They have worked extremely hard. What they've done over the last several years is incomparable, incomparable. Nobody's done it before. So instead of like, it's just going to happen, why don't we get behind them and show them our support? And
sometimes we're a victim of our own success in that it has been such a winning thing that people wait for another week, but never guaranteed another week. Heritage is going to come in here and try and prove that. So we're excited for that. Be there. Coach, before we go, last week we did some college football picks. You were spot on, even down to the Mercer Bears scoring at least one touchdown.
That's right.
We got to see Tyler Murray out there. It was kind of funny. He texted some of the guys while he was at the game taking pictures, and he said, "Hey, how about this?" He's taking a picture of the Alabama logo. He said, "Last year I was playing Liberty Bedford at this time." Something. But let's look at a couple. Obviously, me, big Flames fan. I'm going to have a big tailgate this weekend. Western Kentucky, big week for us because Conference USA is going to be decided who goes to the conference championship by the games coming up. Western Kentucky lost.
Who'd they lose to?
Louisiana Tech. And that was a surprise. So Liberty actually can kind of seal their own fate. How do you feel about Liberty this week?
I really think Coach Chadwell's got, kind of got them back feeling better about themselves. And I think with Western coming off of a loss, I think they may be questioning themselves a little bit. I think the fact that the game's going to be played here, it bodes well for the Flames, and my money's on the Flames.
Got it. Secondly, Notre Dame and Army, always a historic game. It's a great game. How do you see that one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm rooting for Army, big time. Dylan Stowers is playing there, and he travels. He's not playing a whole lot right now as a defensive end, but he travels and he'll be there. And so I'm definitely rooting for Army. But I really think that Notre Dame is really fighting to be in the college playoffs, and I think they need this win to secure that for them. So it's at Notre Dame, I believe.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So I think my money's on Notre Dame.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I know that the being an independent thing is tough for them. So that I think that this is a must win for Notre Dame as well. Then of course, Big Ten, Michigan State, Penn State. Yeah. Where do you see this one?
Yeah, I told you last week. I short of stubbing their toe against Ohio State, I really thought that this was Penn State's year, and I think it still is and still can be.
Right.
So I think Penn State's going to take care of business, and I think they're going to get into the college football playoffs as well.
All right, last one. Texas, Kentucky. Weird matchup there. Yeah. Texas, for me, has been an enigma a little bit. They don't have any banner wins really, but they're a really great team.
Where is that game? Do you know?
I think it's. Do you know where that one? I think it's at Kentucky. I think that matters.
Here's why I'll answer that. Yeah, I'll say if it's at Kentucky, I think Kentucky will win. They'll pull an upset. If it's at Texas, Texas will take care of business.
Nope, it's at Texas. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go with Texas.
All right, Texas is on the thing. Sure. Hey, well, that's it for this week's Bulldog Breakdown. Playoff intensity is heating up. Bulldogs are ready for another big challenge against Heritage. Got to watch the guys practice tonight. Saw some really, really nice things. Coach, anything before we go?
Just please come on out and support us. I know it's going to be cold, but, I mean, that's football weather. Please come out and support us. The boys really it really means something to them, and they deserve our support. So thank you.
Definitely. I know that Benny's Bites has a lot of hot chocolate ready. Bundle up. These are the nights that you will never forget. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us on social media. Follow us right here on YouTube. Keep up with everything that's going on. And then join us next week as we break down the big win versus I can say it because I'm just, there you go. All right. We're going to celebrate another Bulldog victory. Go Dogs.